Hello, my fellow 40-something. Let's talk hormones. They are what's making us fat now. They're what's slowing us down. It's not us. It is not our fault. And no matter what your doctor or gynecologist might have told you about this is just how it is after 40, hang in there till menopause, like they both told me, you don't have to take that for an answer, because I know how bad it feels to try to just hang in there. I tried to just hang in there and I wound up being unable to get out of bed in the morning to take care of my family. That's when I put my foot down and said, I'm gonna figure this out, because I had slipped into this new normal, and it dawned on me one day in my laundry room while I was folding laundry of being frustrated and anxious and exhausted all the time. And no matter how hard I worked out or how little I ate, nothing that I used to do was working anymore. So if you are stuck in that same place, I'm here to give you the 3 pieces of the puzzle that I put together that actually let me get better after 40, and they all connect back to our hormones. The place I learned all of this was as a faster way to fat loss client, and here's what I learned. I can use intermittent fasting, I can balance it with eating enough whole food, and I can use less exercise, more simple or easy exercise. And those 3 changes to my life changed my hormones so that I did get well after 40. I did lose the weight, I did get my sleep back, I did get my energy back and then some, I did get my mood balance back. I got my life back, and in a way that I never even dreamed it could be. So that's why I'm here sharing this with you. So let me do a quick overview of what I mean by you can use intermittent fasting, you can balance it with eating enough whole food nutrition, and you can use simpler or less or smarter, not harder exercise. Let's start with intermittent fasting because it's trendy. You might have heard of it. You might have even tried it on your own like I did and said, nope, doesn't work for me, too hard, I don't feel good, didn't get me results. Here's the deal. When you use intermittent fasting, which means that you have a time when you don't eat, like I finish eating dinner around 7 and then I don't eat again the next day till 11. I essentially skip breakfast. That does wonderful things for your hormone balance, that time of not eating. It lets everything just have a break from digesting food, and that brings some hormone balance. But here is the secret piece of the puzzle that I was missing when I was trying intermittent fasting on my own, and that was that I wasn't eating enough whole food nutrition when it was time to eat. In the 8 hours that I would eat from like 11 to 7, I was eating processed food, I wasn't eating enough carbohydrates, I was never eating enough protein, and I was always overeating fats. I figured that out in my 2nd and 3rd day of the faster way to fat loss when I learned how to know what was in my food and even got to set up a target for myself around how much does a 43-year-old woman who weighs 165 pounds and is pretty much on her feet all day really need to fuel her body all day. And all of a sudden, I promise you, within about those first 3 days of having that intermittent fasting happening and having enough food coming in, I felt like I had been given a magic pill. I could tell things were changing fast. And what was really going on behind the scenes there was hormone balance. The intermittent fasting, balanced with eating enough whole food, was making my hormones so happy. And when our hormones are happy and they're a little bit better balanced, we feel it really fast. And it's very motivating to keep trying to take care of yourself. And then you start to see your body change, your sleep come back, your belly has less bloating, your moods become more even, and that is really motivating to keep working on having a well lifestyle. Now, I would be really leaving you out of something really important if I didn't tell you how I changed my exercise. And again, I learned this within my first few days of working in this faster way to fat loss group. I learned that after 40 especially, too much cardio that's high intensity, so like your Orange Theory class, or my favorite step aerobics class that was an hour and 15 minutes long and I felt like I had run a marathon by the end, is too high intensity for most of us after 40. And that is just telling your hormones to be out of balance, that high intensity cardio. And adding on some strength training instead of doing all that high intensity cardio is that, again, another little secret piece of the puzzle. So it's not just that we need less cardio, it's that we also can add on strength training and build up our muscle system. And those 2 paired together, so I only now do 2 days of cardio a week. It's about 50 minutes total. Mind blowing. And then I do 3 days of strength training with our Fast Away workouts. Those are each about half an hour. They have made me feel so much better because they brought me hormone balance. I'm not exhausted after workouts anymore. I don't feel that nauseous feeling. I don't need to go home and take a nap. I have no trouble falling asleep and staying asleep at night. And this blew my mind, but it happened to me. I lost a lot of belly fat finally when I changed up that exercise routine. It turns out that when we do too much high intensity cardio, when we're releasing a lot of this hormone called cortisol, which is our stress hormone, and it's also a fat storage hormone, that leads to us gaining belly fat. So if you are like me and you're like, you went to your doctor and you said, I'm working out harder than ever, I'm eating as little as I can, and I have this belly fat that won't go away. And your doctor says, oh, that's just 40s, that's just your 50s, menopause, normal, live with it, find some stretchy pants. No, no, you can implement these changes. And I think the biggest impactor on my belly fat was the exercise piece. Now, I don't ever want to just tell anybody information like this and then be like, good luck, go try it on your own. Because I know if I had heard this, if I'd caught this video when I was 43, I would never have been able to implement that on my own. So I now lead other women in that Fast Away to Fat Loss program that taught me intermittent fasting, balance with eating enough whole food nutrition, and using simpler exercise. So you can come learn from me and practice these 3 strategies daily with me in one of the Fast Away groups that I lead. I also lead a Facebook community of women who are learning how to keep living this lifestyle where you use intermittent fasting, eat enough whole food nutrition, and use this less exercise approach. So I have those 2 opportunities, those 2 support pieces ready to go for you, specially designed for women over 40 who need their hormone balance back and waiting for you to serve you. So you can use the buttons below to learn more about those 2 pieces of support, and then check your inbox so that you can check my next email to give you a little bit more follow-up information so you can start having the hope that you can do this too and start seeing, okay, well, what's the next step I would take if I want to take my hormones to a more balanced place so I can get well again after 40 and lose the weight and get my energy back and get my good moods back, because that is what you deserve and you can do it. And you can have a great support system around you cheering you on and knowing just how you feel, and made up of women who are a little bit out ahead of you, so they're living the way you want to live, so you feel inspired. That's what I've got set up for you in my Fast Away groups that I lead and in my Facebook community that I call the Well Woman's Community, because we're there practicing being this new well woman that we want to be. So again, check those buttons below to figure out how to get my support and take your next steps and keep your hope high, because that is what you deserve.